of the biggest things we've done is introduce the Sky Kart, which was a touchscreen on a golf cart. The idea came to us from our creative department, and the impact of that, I think, has been quite big, not just on cricket, but on all of sport. It seems to have been kind of copied quite a lot around the world by different broadcasters. Well, what we typically do is use it for analysis. It's a slightly softer way of drawing better out of your interviewee. We would show, you know, a batsman or a bowler or a wicket keeper what they've done well, and typically that just means that they can talk a little bit better about what they're doing, and it relaxes them a little bit more and just provides something that's a little bit different.
So, Gary, do you want to talk about similar sort of question, but with football?
The game's changed in the sense that it's very stats-based and analytical now, not just in terms of what happens on the pitch, but also in terms of the numbers that you can digest from the data. So I think from a football point of view, that's your sort of start point. Monday Night Football, technology-based programme, touchscreen, and then it's taking that bit like the Sky Kart in cricket out on the road. It's called the Match Zone, which is a mobile studio, and we go to the clubs and the managers and the players rather than them coming to us. We go to them ahead of matches. We can do some analysis with those guys. It's all very tech-driven in terms of touchscreen. And what we try to do with our Premier League is to elevate our big games. We had Spider Cam and a Premier League game for the first time. And I think just being there in the stadium and you see Spider Cam there, it sort of elevates the match, automatically gives it a big game feel. And that's what we've tried to do with that. We've got our net cams, we've got goal line technology now that for the last couple of seasons the Premier League have brought in with the watch that says if the ball's over the line or not. But a couple of years ago when we had Champions League rights, we did a 360 offering. It was literally choose your viewpoint, choose your camera.
So you can go back and replay something from a completely different angle where you don't have a camera. And then the other option is a streaming option around a different view of the game, almost like a FIFA kind of Twitch view, which could be quite cool and something that's quite exciting as well.
The way technology's going and the next generation's coming through, and that's the sort of thing they want. And we're just trying to have to find what we think is the right fit for our products.
We're also thinking about how we can really push younger demographic as well. And they're much more in tune with gaming, with watching on tablet, with watching on phones, you know, as opposed to my dad that will always, like, you know, sit down in front of his plasma screen and enjoy the traditional experience. Any technology, to my mind, has got to have some editorial value. It's got to tell you the story, or it's got to visually be wow. So does it tick either or both of those two boxes? And then ultimately, does the customer want it?
We always want to be the first to do things. We always want to be innovators. We want to be at the forefront of leading this change. And I think 3D, we were very keen to sort of be at the forefront of that and the leaders in that, as I said. But it never resonated with the customer.
But if it's not right, we're brave enough to say, actually, no, we're actually very comfortable with what we're doing.
I think that's where experience comes in, excuse me, right? That sometimes, right, you know, experience just says, do you know what? I'm not sure this is right, so we're just going to bide our time and do nothing. And actually, when we do something, let's get it right and make it look great.
So we've committed to a robotic camera setup on the darts, which was a massive step, as opposed to having manned cameras. So we've gone from that to a touchscreen robotic camera setup where we've got two cameramen at a touchscreen with a dartboard on it, and they will physically press double 20, and the robotic camera will zoom up to double 20. What everyone was used to was just the way it looked, right? So we went from that, which was sort of human error. When you go to a robotic system, it's all the same, right? And it starts to feel a little bit robotic and just sometimes takes the sort of life and soul out of it a little bit. So as we start to add a few imperfections into it to make it look and feel a bit more real, we added little shakes in there. We've added sort of slower sort of zooms into certain finishes just to make it feel more real.
I find that fascinating. And that, you know, we've all grown up in terms of perfection, right? Everything's got to look absolutely perfect. But I think people want to be closer to the action and want more risks, and maybe it doesn't always have to look as perfect as we always think it has to.
Yeah, exactly. This week at the Ryder Cup, the big thing will be the Ryder Cup zone. So we've added a thing called the Zen Green putting mat in there, which is a green that you can manipulate the lie and the contours of the green. So you're putting uphill and then downhill and getting different runs on the green, which is a great thing as well. Works for driving off it as well, so you can drive off different lies, sort of higher lies of the ball, lower lies, and the golfers they come in and get involved in it a lot.
The golf team do a terrific job. You know, it's a very difficult sport to cover because obviously there's 18 holes on a golf course, so if you've got an event going on, there's simultaneous shots and putts going in left, right and centre. It's very, very difficult. I'll stick to cricket, I think. I think it's all about capturing the speed of the game. The reason that cricketers and footballers and whatever are so good at what they do is because they do it quicker than anybody else. I remember walking around the boundary in Rajkot in India, watching Moeen Ali bowl, right? It was a spinner bowling at 55 miles an hour, right? And it is quick, and it looks really slow on television. And equally, I go to a Premier League game, and if I'm fortunate enough to be down low, and you see just how fast and nimble and quick, you know, it is so hard to capture that on television.